tip.
Good afternoon. It is May 1st, 2018. You're listening to a Little Column A, Little Column B, hosted by Will Eminos and co-hosted by Zach Bishop. How you doing today, buddy?
What's going on, Will? We're back.
Yeah, we tend to say that a lot. We're back again. One more time.
We just don't tend to say that. I'm pretty sure that we promised our listeners, one, that we would be back in a week, and two, that we would say we were back. And we are men of our words, and both men of the people. And so we keep our promises.
Well, we are in prime NBA season. The playoffs are just chaos is going on. I don't know what to expect anymore. We got MVPs coming back. We got, I guess, upsets with 2 seeds. I have no idea. But let's go right into that right now. Our Boston Celtics got what I believe is going to be our last win of the year, which is a little sad to talk about, but still, the future is so bright that there's really no bad news in Boston right now. So I'll ask you, do you think we're going to get another win? Because I don't. I think this is it. I think they're going to sweep us after this. They're just too talented of a team. We're outmatched. They have a better roster.
Well, that was my thought yesterday, right at about this time, and then all of a sudden we went in and all those matchup problems people were going to say we were going to have a hard time with, it turned out they had the matchup problems. I was not expecting that game at all, which made it a ton of fun. I don't know if I've ever seen the team shoot so well or another team shoot so poorly. Nice little nugget for you. Horford, Tatum, and Rozier, their combined points, it was more combined points than Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, and Paul Pierce had in any game, regular season or postseason. So the new big three is in Boston. It's there.
That just sounds like a fluke. It doesn't even sound real.
It happened. I watched it.
It
it's in
doesn't.
the papers.
Well, so you're saying this was entirely Boston related, that this has nothing to do with the fault of Philly? Because I do not expect Philly to shoot as poorly as you mentioned, and I think we will do what we did in the Milwaukee series. And by that, I mean we're going to stay in every game. We're going to be tight. We're going to play a lot of defense. We're going to put pressure. Brad's going to do out of timeout things. We're going to be in the game. But when it comes down to win the game, they got 2 guys that clearly have an advantage, I think, on every other player, and they're going to be able to close these games out. It's going to be so deflating of every game. We're right there. We're so close. And it's like, if only we had a guy. And we do have a guy. He's just not healthy. If we just had Kyrie. We talked yesterday about this. I think this is kind of an interesting philosophy. If we just only played Kyrie in the last 5 minutes of the fourth. Like, he was like a pitcher. Like, he was a closer.
I agree it's a good idea. But do you not think we closed that game out yesterday?
We blew them out. And they couldn't get a basket
No,
for them.
I mean it turned out, but remember it was about midway through the fourth where it got to 8 or 9, and it was starting to be, you were like, we're gonna blow this and this is gonna ruin my night. And to our credit, we got it together. It's not the same as closing it out with, okay, it's a 2-point game with 3 minutes to go and you got to score every time, you got to get a stop every time. But I think that I think we stepped on their throats. They were clawing back, and we said, "Oh no, we're not even gonna give you a chance to even think that you're back in this game."
I don't know. I have no idea where to go with this. I can't. It's hard to prepare for this team at this point because they have so many injuries. There's no film on Yabusele or whoever it is, or Semi, or all these guys. Nobody knows what to expect for them. I mean, Terry Rozier, the TNT guys are just learning this name. It's the second round. Those guys watch all year round. They watch every game. I think that once they kind of get some film on these guys, it'll be a little bit easier to figure it out. But you do have to credit Brad Stevens. It's the system, right? It's not these guys. It's the system.
Oh, the guys are definitely filling in. I think that the matchups worked out well, and I think that Brad is doing a great job. I don't think it was unexpected that he wasn't going to be able to do it, but I saw a bunch of jokes on Twitter last night saying, well, somehow the Celtics keep getting better every time they lose somebody. And we're joking about somehow it was like suspend Al Horford and put Jason Tatum on a cruise ship and then just ride Terry Rozier to the finals.
I mean, I'm on the Rozier bandwagon. He's young. He's affordable. This guy's trying to get a max contract, which I thought Shaq or Chuck or somebody mentioned it on the TNT broadcast. And I know they were joking, but in all reality, he's looking
He's
like
the
somebody. He looks like somebody you may want to keep. You may want to pay.
he's the 11th highest paid player on the Celtics.
Ah, that just seems so wrong. It seems so wrong. But you know what? The flip side of that, Isaiah Thomas. I mean, that guy played through everything, and he'll never get paid. So I part of me thinks that Rozier is going to want to stay in Boston, but I don't know how we're going to manage to afford all these guys. It'll get to a point where somebody's going to have to go, and I don't know who
Well, we
that's
don't
going to
have to
be.
worry about that just yet. We got some time.
How much time do we have with Rozier? You have any idea? I have no idea
I
of his
think he's
contract.
got. I think he might have one more year, and then he'll be restricted.
Yeah, because I don't want to let him go. He seems to be the playoff
He
killer
got
for
some.
one.
Well, remember when he was on the road in Milwaukee, he struggled a little bit. So last night's fun, but he's still trying to figure it out,
I'm not going to put it all on just him. I think
which is
he
fine.
picks his
He's young.
spots. He picks his spots, and that's good. The whole team as a whole really just struggled down the road. We haven't won a road game. We've only won home games. The good news is we have home court advantage.
Yes, that is good.
So all right, well, real quick, just kind of wrap up this a little bit right now. How many games are the Celtics going to win? Is this the last win of the year? Or you think we're going to get another one?
I think we're gonna win every home game.
You think we're going to win in seven? You're picking us in seven?
Did you see the game yesterday? Why would you not think that anymore? We didn't
It's
even have Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown's coming back.
Jalen
He's gonna be
shouldn't
fine.
return, even if he's somehow ready. Brad's not going to play him. I don't think he plays.
He's gonna play. He's in that same Marcus Smart mold where he, despite what it is good for your body or not, he's just gonna play, and no one's gonna be able to stop him.
Marcus Smart's going to lose this game at some point. All right, well, I'm sticking with. I picked Philly in five, and I will stay with that. It sounds ridiculous after last night, but we really shot.
Yeah, you really mellowed out after last night. Last night you were nice enough to allow Tom Brady to keep wearing number 12, even though it's Rozier's number now.
I think Rozier has earned it right now. I mean, the thing is, I think when you're a Boston fan specifically, you you're not always the underdog, and that you're always doubted, or it's always you against the world. Rozier just he checks every box for that category right there of being the underdog, the unknown guy, this gritty guy who's just shining in the right moments. And yeah, I want to give him the number 12. He's been amazing these playoffs. I mean, just just the confidence he has, and really the balls of all the shooting he's doing, and against the players he's going up against. There's no fear. There's no fear at all in this kid, and I just got to give him so much credit for that. It's a bright future.
That's what he said in the interview after the game. He just said it's just confidence. He's just feeling it, and basketball is just a huge game of confidence.
Yeah, so that's Brady confidence he's out there with. That's also Brady clutchness at home. He has been. He's been money at home. Every time we've needed a bucket, he's been the guy to get it, or he'll do some sort of play or a steal or something. I feel like he's the game changer right now for us. That'll shift us from being a very injured team to being suddenly a competitive team. And that's invaluable. You can't find players like that. It's a rare commodity to find a guy who can do that. So I stand by him earning that number 12 in Boston, of which Mr. Tom Brady is proudly the owner of. But you know what? In green right now, he can rock number 12 for as long as he wants. I don't want anyone else wearing number 12 for at least a couple of years. 'Cause I'm not going to forget about this. This is reminding me of like Walter McCarty days, and we weren't even that good then, even healthy. But that guy did everything. He laid it all out there. I know we're going real back here. None of the listeners are going to know, but Walter McCarty was amazing. Walter McCarty hit that corner three every time you needed it. Beyond clutch. Yeah, all right. So I don't know when this turned into such a Homer podcast, but uh, we talked
Tricked you,
about
tricked you into it.
we talked about Brad Stevens doing a phenomenal job and getting a bunch of credit across the NBA. A lot of coaches talking about how incredible it is, the quick turnaround. I know Doc Rivers talked about he never thought Boston would flip the switch this quick. So with that being said, I know the roster looks great and the drafting has been great by Danny Ainge, but the coaching is still a very, very valuable asset. But is it more valuable than Giannis Antetokounmpo? I saw a poll on Twitter that you sent me that said, "Who would you rather have the next 5 years? Would you rather have Brad Stevens as your coach or Giannis Antetokounmpo as your best player?" Now, don't be too much of a homer. Think about this a little bit here. But there is a right answer and there is a wrong answer.
I went with Giannis.
Yeah.
I think that Brad can only take you so far. Brad's amazing, but you need the players to get the job done. And if you look at who has won championships, it's been good coaching, but it has to do with having elite players. And Giannis is an elite player, so you got to start there.
So you're gonna stick with the players. Players play, coaches coach, right? So the coach is not on the floor. So what good is he gonna do? Now, let me ask you this then:
I just
is
think that
Brad?
you need someone of Giannis's ability to make the finals and make a run. You know, if you look at the last champions, they have Steph, they have Kevin Durant, they have LeBron. You can throw Clay and Draymond Green in there. So there needs to be
Okay,
that
well,
elite.
let me follow up by saying this, and this will maybe sway my vote a little bit here too. Is Brad the best coach in the NBA? Like, you picking Brad Stevens over Popovich? Are you picking Brad
Yes.
Stevens over Spolstra? Who are the other good
Yeah,
ones?
yeah.
Over,
Number one.
he's number one. He's the guy. So
Yep.
so there's no coach or no value in the coach that will. There's no coach currently in the NBA that will outvalue Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like that's not true.
No,
Okay.
no, I don't think so.
All right. I'm trying to think of another player that would maybe sway you a little bit more. All right. Next, would you rather LeBron or Brad Stevens next 5 years? That's like a
Still
step
LeBron.
down. Still LeBron. Still LeBron. God, he's an old
Dude,
man.
look what he's doing with this team.
See, that's all I wanted to do. I am on the LeBron bandwagon like crazy. I don't think he's getting nearly
Look
enough
what he's
credit.
doing in that. Remember, I gave you that stat like midway through that last series where nobody on his team had scored 20 points in a game. Nobody else. And then the leader in assists after LeBron, I think was in this was I can't remember if this was after game 5 or after game 6. This was about midway through. Was Jeff Green, and it was like 1.63 assists. That was the second leading. That's just crazy. And you think that he's ready to go. I just don't know how he can keep doing I'm gonna play these like crazy minutes. You know, he started to cramp up, and when you cramp up like that doesn't go away.
He's not built like anybody else. There will never be another LeBron. I don't think there will ever be another LeBron. Period. And just his athleticism and his success and his basketball IQ and his representation of the NBA, he's just such a unique talent. I really think we should all just start appreciating the era that we're in and being able to watch him every night. He's the only player I've ever seen get used to playing with bad players. His entire career, it has been nothing but disappointing teammates that have, you know, certainly damaged his image in some ways. I certainly lost him some championships, and that's not always the fault of him. It could be the fault of, unbeatable opponents. But I mean, his team's just not good. This isn't the first time. It's just he's the only player who's just like, all right, I'll just do more. And especially when you get to this level, how much more can you do? We're seeing it right now, but I just wonder what's this next round gonna take? How much
When
more
you're
is he gonna be able to do? As he's already cramping, he's already pushed his body to the limit. He's not a young guy anymore. He's been to what 7 straight finals. How much more is he gonna be able to do?
if it was any other team besides Toronto, if if it were all the Toronto players, but they had all the skill sets, but they had different names, and it was they were called the Wizards. I think that everyone would be, oh yeah, there's just no way. But it's because it's Toronto, and the Cavs have just had Toronto's number, and Toronto just seems to all of a sudden like forget all the good stuff they're doing, which is just even with this, they've had poor defenses in the past, but this year it was horrible. It was really bad.
So LeBron's gonna beat the Raptors, right? We already agreed on that. That's gonna happen.
Mm, I want to see what happens tonight. I wouldn't be
No.
surprised if Toronto. See, no, this is where I get caught in my pickle again because half of me is thinking LeBron just had to play 2 days ago. He cramped up. They're going to be exhausted. The Raptors have gotten a chance to rest, and the Raptors come out and just smack them around. That would be my conventional thinking. But now I got to remind myself this is the Raptors in a game one at home, and for some reason, they seem to just kick these, stab themselves in the in the foot.
Yeah, they don't do themselves any favor in game one. As well as they have a horrible, horrible. This is similar roster too. There are a lot of same players that have struggled against Cleveland every playoff of the past couple of years. It's not an unfamiliar team. LeBron has this team figured out. They don't have anyone, I think, to throw at him. They do have a very, very good bench, and Cleveland's bench is probably the worst bench left in the playoffs right now. Right? I don't think there's a worse bench unless Boston gets any more injuries, and they just keep digging
Yeah,
deeper and deeper into the roster. I think Cleveland has the worst bench available right now. Uh, but
like
I
especially with, I
they
mean,
don't.
George Hill. They were saying all nice things about him. He had the bad back and he came in. It's like this guy's getting paid oodles of money. I mean, I know that doesn't exactly line up, but it's not like this is exactly Fred Van Vliet here. Like George Hill has had success in this league.
Yeah, well, I also saw somebody else saying the Raptors may have. So LeBron's the best player in the series. The Raptors may have the next seven, and that's not crazy to
The
think about.
only
That's just wild to think that I'm still gonna pick the one guy
yeah.
versus essentially seven. Oh,
Well,
in
the
in a
the concern
series.
it just comes to it starts to come down to the matchups of who on Toronto can guard LeBron, and then Valanciunas trying to chase Kevin Love around. Where if you're banging down low, Valanciunas is fine with that, but him having to pop out trying to guard Kevin Love, that all of a sudden swings in Kevin Love's favor. Maybe we see Kevin Love start to step it up. What Tristan Thompson's going to show up? Is it 2016 Tristan Thompson, the one we saw in Game 7, or is it the Tristan Thompson that's very much maybe in his own head with the whole Khloe Kardashian thing? I don't really know.
I have no idea. It's amazing to me of how split their entire roster is of having guys that are okay on offense and really bad on defense, or in Tristan's case, pretty good on defense and a really good rebounder, but useless on offense. And I feel
I
like
saw
and LeBron's put in the middle of all of this of being like, all right, I have to make you a good offensive player and a good defensive player. I
yeah.
just I don't know how many more strings this guy can pull. He's the greatest puppeteer master of any basketball player in history.
I saw something funny on Twitter last night talking about or maybe it was probably on Sunday when Tristan Thompson's just absolutely going off, and the joke was, well, he hasn't played the whole series, so this is like when you're playing pickup basketball and you're getting like towards the end of the run, and some guy comes in and he's super fresh, so he's running all over the place, jumping all over, and it's like, hey man, I don't have that much energy left. I've already been playing for an hour and a half.
I don't know. I have no idea. I feel like Cleveland's gonna win. I don't really have a whole lot of arguments other than just I think LeBron James has figured out this team, and Toronto has a history of just letting themselves down, and anyone who picks them is it's an immediate letdown. You never feel comfortable picking Toronto in the playoffs. They have been one of the top seeds for how many years now with this same DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry roster, and it's gotten even better. I would say this is the best team they had going into the playoffs. But I said that last year, and the year before that, and the year before that, they have gotten
Yeah,
better, but they've never actually gotten over this hump. And this may be the time that they finally get it. A very vulnerable LeBron, but I see a very unstoppable LeBron. I don't see it. It's too much. It's gonna be too much, and they're gonna be like, this is the Jordan era here, right? Where it's just like you were a pretty good team, but you ran into this guy every year, and it was unfair. You might have won any other year that he was out, but not this year.
life's not fair, so you gotta if you can't just listen to everybody say, "Yep, we think this is your year." You got to go out there. You got to take it.
Yeah, you gotta follow the rules. All right, stay in line. All right, follow the rules. Stay in line. Know your lane. Stay in your lane. All right. And speaking of guys not staying in their lane, or at least not staying in their driver's seat, we got a fun little story about a Tesla driver who's being banned because I guess this automated driving isn't quite ready for him to not be in the driver's seat. What happened here? How did this guy screw up?
Yeah, so guy over in England is driving his Tesla, and he just kind of wanted to test out and see how well this autopilot worked. So he hops out of the driver's seat and hops into the passenger seat, and the police notice They I don't know how they pulled him over. I'm guessing he had to jump back into the driver's seat. But yeah, definitely putting too much faith into it. He was given a 18-month driving ban. Has to work 100 unpaid hours and conduct 10 days of rehabilitation as well as pay about $2,500.
That doesn't sound too bad. I mean, he's still employed, right?
It seems to be that way. I don't think you can fire somebody for that. It seems really stupid.
I'm
Uh,
confused
I mean,
of.
he did this, his car was like around like other cars in traffic. It wasn't like he was doing this like in the middle of nowhere, and it was going 40 miles an hour. So not crazy fast, but fast enough where you're going 40 miles an hour. That's when you hit something, it's gonna make a dent. It's gonna dent you. You start getting into trouble.
All right, so the real problem is here is he wasn't in the seat to essentially react to any sort of emergency, right? Is my understanding of
Correct,
it?
because this autopilot, at this point, is good with lane adjustment, kind of like emergency braking if you're not paying attention to the car in front of you. But if a car were to have swerved from one lane into his lane, he would have been toast.
See, part of me wonders. All right, how effective do you think you would be as a driver, even with all of that said, and you're still in the driver's seat? Are you really? Are you giving your full attention this entire time? Are you giving your normal driving attention, knowing it's going to do all the basic stuff, but I need to be the lookout for that guy who's about to swerve in, or on this yield coming up, or that crosswalker over there?
Yeah, yeah,
Eh,
you do, because you know what? There's people in the crosswalk, and you got to look out for potholes, and you got to look out for sticks in the road, or there's just stuff.
Okay, all right. I agree. I agree. But then why are you in a Tesla? Why does it have this ability? If it's not ready, don't let people use it.
Well, no, but it's assistance. It's not taking care of the whole thing for you. It's like you got the when you're bowling and you're a kid and you got the little bumpers on the side. It kind of makes it so it doesn't go into the gutter, but you're still gotta push it in a straight line. You still gotta get it going in the right direction.
All right. I understand the analogy. I just don't know why we're bowling if we're not ready to bowl yet. You know, why? Like, this is cool. It's cool. It's great. It's an awesome car. But does this guy? Obviously, he has some sort of relationship, or he's an employee of some sort. Uh, isn't this what he's supposed to be doing? Maybe not to that degree. Is that really what they're upset about? Or is it just
What does this
pure?
have to do with his job?
I couldn't. I guess you could just go out and buy a Tesla. I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess you can acquire it. Uh, do you think
yeah,
the
you just buy a car. Yeah, that's what you do.
well, he's not an employee of Tesla? I was under the impression he was.
It makes no claims of that.
Oh, okay. Completely misunderstood that. So this is an acquired Tesla. Got it. All right. So are these fines justified then, with all the mandatory hours and all that? Is this okay? Because this is very reckless endangerment from my understanding of it now.
It said the police noted that what he did was grossly irresponsible.
Yeah,
Because, like I said, it's what it's built for is it's for lane adjust. It's not ready for full autonomous.
you know, it's really kind of a dumb thing for him to try to get away with. It's not like, what are you gonna say when you get pulled over? There's nobody there. I feel like you're sticking out like a sore thumb, right? It's you just tell the car to pull over to the side, and you tell officer, oh, he was here a second ago. You just jumped out. He ran away.
Yeah,
You gotta
yeah,
go get him.
yeah. I know exactly how you explain this to people.
You know, it.
Yeah,
It's
and think about it, even like there's not a ton of room in a car. Like I'm still not sure exactly how he got like your legs out from under the wheel to get over. Like usually there's like some sort of little center console to get over, and how you didn't hit the wheel in this whole process.
no idea. No idea. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on some Tesla. And do you have any interest in self-driving cars? Like, would you want a Tesla right now with your lane assistance or whatever other stuff it does?
Why are you poo-pooing this so much? This isn't a Tesla thing at all. Like all the like pretty much across the board. All new cars coming out are coming out with some sort of version of lane assist and help you to brake and the parallel parking. Like this is not just like a Tesla thing at all.
I suppose that I'm really ignoring these features right now, and I understand that they're beneficial and they're helpful, and I'm just waiting for the self-driving car. I'm just waiting to do. I want to be able to do what this guy did in a much more responsible way, where it's actually designed to do that. And anything that leads up until that, I really don't care about because I still have to drive. I'm more or less not impressed with anything until I can not have to pay attention at all.
I'm not sure if you'll have a choice because I think it's all kind of going in that direction, and they're going to give you all the helpful
And
features that they can
no, no,
along the
and
way
that's fine. I'll be grateful for it, but I really don't care for it at all. It's not going to impress me, I guess, is what I'm saying. I'm not going to be impressed
until you can just
until I can
hop in
just
the back.
hop in and chill. Until I can call the Uber and there's not even anybody there and get in the back seat and it can take me wherever I want. I don't know what gas prices are over there, but they've skyrocketed over here. I don't want to drive anymore. I'll just pay. I just want somebody to pay. I've got my driving hours done. All right, I'm good. I'm just counting down the days until I can just chill in the back seat and tell whatever robot Uber to take me wherever I need to go. I also
Yeah, I'm
imagine
sure
I
no
also imagine efficiency in traffic. Merging in traffic is it drives me crazy how inefficient it is. Is this not something that drives everyone nuts? There has to be a mathematical systematic way to have it all merge perfectly where everyone just essentially has their destination typed in and everything can just flow because you know this car is going to be there at this second and this car is going to be there and everything just you can maximize your efficiency at some point, right? That just
I just read recently how if everyone at a stoplight accelerated at the same rate to the same speed, it would cut down on like significantly on traffic. And I think that's what I'm more interested in more than the oh good, I get to sit in the back of the car and oh wait, now that I don't have to focus on the road, like now I have to do work. And like this is how work squeezes out, you know, another hour out of me productivity wise. But how it should be more efficient because the cars can be closer together. They can take off in a more uniformed approach. You know, they're all talking to each other. And like you said, everyone's kind of got their destination put in. And so it's going to know, oh, well, this is already going to be jammed up and it'll be jammed up in a half an hour. So, all right, let me just go this other way where I know it won't be jammed up.
yeah, merging's terrible. It's just the human element in it all is terrible. I think it's second you take that out, this doesn't become so bad anymore. The decision making
Yeah,
and
because
all
then the
that.
people that are, you know, already on the highway that are slowing down because they don't want to have an accident because they don't know what you're going to do and you're just trying to get onto the highway and now they'll only have to slow down a certain amount and it won't back everything else up on the highway behind it.
We have so much construction currently in San Diego. It's miserable. They're closing down lanes left and right, so there's just regular merging all the time from 2 lanes to one, 3 lanes to two, or
Hmm.
whatever it is. And it just frustrates the hell out of me being like I know there's room for all of us. We don't there shouldn't be, a lack of space here. There's just, some people are aggressive and some aren't and that just is a horrible combination that slows everything down until somebody crashes, and then you got all the rubberneckers who are driving by, looking to the side, be like, "Oh, I wonder what happened." Oh, well, yeah,
It's an accident.
an accident. You just
They all
waited.
look the
You
same.
just waited a half hour behind it, but now that you're there, yeah, take your time and look. And you haven't wasted
Yeah.
enough of your time today. But yeah,
I waited in line to see this.
exactly. Here's the show. This is the ride, right? This is the roller coaster ride you've been waiting for. I hope you enjoyed it. Well,
It's never worth it.
I don't really enjoy traffic, but I think I might be able to enjoy this, even though I'm not much of a motorcycle owner. But apparently, there's a car being designed with a motorcycle in it, and I'm describing this as the Dark Knight Batmobile. Essentially, this is what I'm imagining in my head. But you go ahead and explain the details. Do I have the right idea?
So you're a little bit ahead of the game. Uh, Ford only submitted this to the patent office. So their design might even be strong and it's kind of like a preliminary idea. But I got the same idea of, oh, like in Batman. So then I read a little more about it, and what it sounds like they're looking to do is this would be for you live outside of San Diego. You know, if you drive into the city, parking is just going to be a mess. So you park outside of the city, you detach your electric motorcycle, and you take that into the city because that'll be easier to park.
Nice. I like it. I like it. The one thing that's
And
taken the one thing
I
that's
like
taken
the
over this
idea of
area
it.
is the damn scooters, and that's kind of a similar thing. These rent a scooters, but I
Hmm.
like the idea of essentially having a roadside like full serviced vehicle, I guess, or motorcycle, whatever vehicle, a way of travel.
Yeah. What I like about it is, you see, you're on the highway and you see everybody's in the car, everyone's, coming home from work. Pretty much everyone's by themselves, and it's like this is a huge inefficiency. But we're in America, and we're a car culture, and we can afford the cars and we can afford the gas, so it's not a huge deal. But how nice would it be that when you needed a car, you could have a car if you had people and you need to go somewhere, but also if you just needed to go into town or it was just you on a trip, you just you just take the motorcycle part of your car and you save on gas. It probably helps the because helps the environment. There's just a lot of pluses to it.
See, my only desire to have a motorcycle is when I'm sitting in traffic and I'm 30 minutes out of where I need to be, and I just want a lane split. That's my entire interest of
Yeah.
a motorcycle. I don't have it, and but
And then
this
when you
is
get to your location,
but
you
this
don't have
is
to drive around for 20 minutes to find a parking spot. It's just you park in between two cars and you're done.
that sounds great. But the problem is with the situation is what do I do with the rest of the vehicle when I suddenly hit traffic and I just want to take the motorcycle? I still have to come back and get this at some point. It's
Well,
not
the idea is that you would know where the traffic was going to be, so you would park your car outside of that traffic kind of circle, the
so
radius.
that's going to require planning, and that's going to require a skill I may or may not have. But I like the idea of it.
Yeah, that might slow people down.
I do like the direction of it. I see some sort of efficiency. I think the more toys somebody can have in one vehicle, the better. So I'm all for it. I don't know if I would get one. I still don't trust myself on a motorcycle. I barely trust myself on those little rent scooters we were talking about. But those are crazy. They're everywhere out here now. I'm still baffled by the use of them, and there's something so irresponsible about seeing something unlocked on the street now, everywhere, all over the place. Uh,
Has it got to be a hassle for you yet? Would you say?
in downtown, absolutely. In downtown, it's crazy because everything's all stop and go. It's a grid, so there's a lot more intersections on every block. Over in the beach kind of area in the bay right now, it's not too big of an issue. But downtown, it's there's a lot of people using them, and they're not even looking out for each other on scooters, let alone cars, and vice versa. Cars looking like, hey, I saw the one guy, but I didn't see the other guy come out of nowhere.
Hmm.
I don't think there's not much of a learning curve to the scooter. You can get comfortable on it, but I don't think enough people use it more than once. Like a lot of people, it's their first time using it, and they're right in the middle of traffic on downtown. It's just a bad mix, bad mix of
Yeah.
things. And then the buses don't help either. They kind of own the whole right side of that lane. The bike lane is right next to the bus lane. That's already kind of sketchy. Now you're throwing a whole bunch of scooters of people who haven't been on these scooters before, but I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't know who's charging all these things either. The idea behind them is that somebody's picking up and you can charge the scooter for full and receive I don't know like $20 or something a scooter. I have no idea what it is. Uh, but I don't know who's signing up to do that. I don't know who's driving around town picking up scooters and bringing them back to their place and watching their electricity bill just skyrocket.
Maybe it's somebody who is renting from somewhere where they don't charge them utilities.
Oh, that sounds brutal. That doesn't sound fair. That doesn't sound right. Or maybe it's the HOA. They're using like the public outlet by the pool or something, or in the gym. It's
Yeah.
just, but I don't know where that's gonna go in the future. It's an interesting story. I know they're
I read an
expanding.
article in
They're everywhere now,
in
right?
San Francisco that they because the bird that was in San Diego, they debuted up in San Francisco, and the article I read, it was super pro against the scooters, saying that they're just everywhere, and both they're just strewn everywhere, and like they're on the sidewalk and you got to look out for them, and like you said, it's it's not like someone on a bicycle in the city that's all right. I've been practicing for a while and I kind of know what I'm doing. I know what to look out for, and you look out for me. It's these people that are brand new on it, the same way you and I were out there, but we kind of started, away from people,
We started on the
which I think was
sidewalk
smart.
on the bay on like a bike path, which is, they
Yeah.
seem much more safer and like that should be what they're ideally designed for. But the convenience factor though makes it so much better in downtown, where I've used it in downtown before too, purely because of parking. This whole convenience of the motorcycle car. This is what that was for me. I found a parking spot, but I had to go to two different places in downtown. Now the first spot was right where
Mhm.
I needed to be, but the second spot was not, and I wasn't about to pull out my car from the parking spot and have to go find somewhere else. I said, no, I'll just take the scooter. It'll be much easier. I won't have to pay for parking another meter again. It's most of the time it's more affordable than an Uber and faster if you have one right in front of you. If you got to travel a little bit
Mhm.
more, I'm sure it balances out of being worth it or maybe not being worth it. But uh, I didn't feel great. I didn't feel super safe on it.
Yeah.
That's one thing. And I'm a young guy. I think I'm fairly active and athletic. I can only imagine somebody not as active or athletic or maybe as young. Uh,
Balanced.
or yeah, I mean, you bring up like bicycles, like we grew up biking. You remember learning how to ride a bike. There was no point in our lives we learned how to go on one of these scooters. It's just this is it right there. This is the first day. Yeah, all right, here, good luck. Go. Just here's the gas and here's the brake, and then that's it. No directions, no nothing.
Yeah.
By the way,
Wear a helmet.
yeah. By the way, wear a
But
helmet.
there's nothing really forcing you to do it because your mom's not around.
Yep. Yeah. No. Is that what we need? We need more moms. We need more moms in over here.
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe I'm wondering if the legislation is not far behind. That's just gonna basically outlaw it.
I can't imagine people in downtown being very thrilled by it. I don't I don't know if it's helped traffic or made it worse. In some ways, I guess there's less people in cars now, but there's more people on the road, right? No, I don't know. Is there less?
There's just more people in general and more people on the road.
Yeah, that's it'll be funny. I don't know how long that'll last. Speaking of, I don't know how long he'll last. Steph Curry is going to make a return. Well, hopefully. I don't know. He's listed as probable. Is he going to start tonight? I don't know.
No, he's coming. He's coming back tonight.
He's
Yeah.
coming back. I don't know how long
Yeah. He
this
went
guy's going to stay
through shoot
healthy.
around and he's ready to go.
I don't know if he's going to stay healthy. I don't feel like they should bring him back immediately right now. Unless he's really fully ready to go, I don't see what the rush is. They're not going to need him this series.
He's ready to go, and I figure you don't need to play him a bunch of minutes, but like you said, saying you don't need him this series, you're gonna need him, and I think it'll be better off to have some minutes, on whatever sort of brace, medication, whatever they're doing, warm up, loosen up, like give him a chance to kind of test this all out. So when they're going against the Rockets, he's feels much more comfortable.
All right, so you're going to see more rust or rest tonight. Like, what is your expectation? I think you're going to see a like spot on shooter. I don't think he's going to miss. I don't think he's going to play a lot, but he's not going to miss. I
Oh,
think he's
I I am gonna. I don't make any sort of moves. I think it's a bad idea to bet against Steph Curry making buckets.
so over under 25 points.
I'm gonna go under. I don't think he'll have enough minutes.
It's like the under. All right.
The Warriors won. They won pretty handily last time, so I think it could easily be one of those. They're up by a bunch. There's no reason for him to even play any of the fourth quarter.
All right, over under 3 3-point shots made.
Over.
He's going to make more than 3 and under 25. All right. All right, well, that's a fair prediction. The one thing,
Yeah.
I know they don't necessarily need him this series, but this is also a bad matchup for him. The guards are bigger. Rondo's big, and Drew Holiday are big. Those are the guys going to be thrown at him. Man, not that that's really slowed down Steph in the past, but he's going to have to play defense on them. That's I don't. That's not a good situation for him. I don't think this is a
And he
great
could
series
play.
for him to come back.
They could put him on Rondo. That'd be okay.
Well, I hope so. I bet Rondo's been watching film. But he's probably dying to play against Steph.
Oh, just as a competitor, I can't imagine you wouldn't be.
Yeah. How many games are they going to get? Did we? I don't know. Did we talk about that in the last podcast? I wasn't expecting much out of New Orleans. I know some people were crazy in thinking that they are going to win this series or that they need Stephen Curry to win this series. Uh, Anthony Davis is a hell of a talent, but that entire team on Golden State is full of talent.
Yeah, yeah. I think as we've been talking since the end of last year, that this is this is the Warriors league until further notice.
Well, Houston's got an interesting matchup. I mean, Utah is so much fun to watch. They're just a great team. They're like Boston. There's something inspiring about the way they play, and I think it's the Donovan Mitchell kid is truly just a special talent. I'm sticking by how good this rookie class is. I'm watching him in front of us right now, in front of our eyes right now. Jason Tatum,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Donovan Mitchell. I mean, I guess Simmons. Say what you want about that. Uh, do we know what's going on with Fultz? By the way, he's just not in the rotation.
He didn't play yesterday. I think the reason was, yeah, he's not totally in the rotation. I think the idea is don't throw him to the Boston crowd. We're already chanting at Simmons that he's not a rookie, and I think the idea is he's already kind of having, it seems to be, some sort of in his head troubles, and maybe just kind of wait for him when they're back home and let him get some running.
Well, hopefully he'll be able to put some work in this off season. It'll be curious to see where his jump shot goes. I don't know at this point. Has it changed enough? Are they going to change it more? Is he going to go back to the way it was? I have no idea. Or is his shoulder just going to magically heal with some time and it won't be a problem?
Yeah, I don't know. It's over my head.
Over your head. Well, speaking of guys getting right back to work in this offseason, apparently Victor Oladipo was texting his trainer immediately after the game, after their Game 7 loss, very tough loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Uh, and incredible season. Uh, and I guess in some ways you could say his season lasted longer than Paul George's, more or less the same. But you know, I give him credit. I didn't see this coming. Who won that deal right now? Before we get into the trainer story, what who won this deal now? This Paul George for Victor Oladipo deal, because Paul George is more than likely going to leave after a first round exit.
Yeah, it sure looks like the Pacers because they got Oladipo and Sabonis. I'm pretty sure both under contract. Where yeah, Paul George could stay, but it sure looks like he's gonna leave.
And they're quality pieces. I don't see Sabonis or Oladipo really falling off or getting worse. If anything, they're going to just continue to improve.
Yeah,
Uh,
both young guys.
both very very young. I want to say they're on pretty good contracts. Oladipo maybe a little bit more, but uh, Sabonis is definitely going to be a talent that's going to be, especially in this Eastern Conference right now, where if things don't go well for LeBron, or even if Indy wins that game, I think LeBron packs his bags and is gone. So I think it's a phenomenal move for Indiana, and I wish Paul George best of luck, man. But I don't see him surviving OKC anytime soon. He's not staying. But
Why would you want to stay somewhere where you just get blamed for everything? That doesn't seem like fun.
yeah, yeah, it's not a comfortable situation, and it only works if you win. It's kind of crazy and simple to think of it that way, but this doesn't make any sense without more victories. What do you think of this Carmelo Anthony bench talk right now? I think it's too soon. First of all, we don't even know what their roster is going to look like, what Paul George is going to do, and suddenly I'm seeing all these stories of like Melo won't come off the bench. I'm like, well, yeah, Melo, this roster right now that just went out there that couldn't even win in the first round game, and you want to tell Carmelo he has to come off the bench like he was the problem? Is
I think
that
you have to try some different things, but I think you get roped into these. It's not, oh well, we're gonna bench this guy. We're gonna try some stuff. It's like you benched Carmelo Anthony, and it just has this whole other area to it. But I think that this shouldn't be on the player at all. This is it's on the coach. The coach makes the decisions, and if the coach is scared of the player, then that's not good. Then that situation's not going to work. You think that anybody was really questioning, any of the decisions that Brad Stevens made last night? It's like, no, this guy knows what he's doing. Whatever he says for the good of the team, that's what I'm going to do. You know what, Carmelo? You're going to opt into your contract. And you're going to make him like $20+ million. That do what the coach says.
I mean, all right. So, but I can't. From his perspective, though, this isn't fair either. You really putting all the blame on Carmelo Anthony? That's why they lost. And his
Oh no, there's blame to go around all over the place, but I can see, I know why he's going to opt in, because if he opts in, he gets $20+ million, which I don't see him getting that anywhere else, especially after this year. So that's why I can see him coming back. But I can see how this year didn't go super successful, and I don't see why next year, even if Paul George leaves, that something's going to switch and Carmelo Anthony is going to be 2010 Carmelo Anthony.
well, I don't think we're seeing 2010 Carmelo anytime soon. But in the meantime, I don't really see a. Is there a guy that should be playing over Carmelo right now? Is there a guy on that roster right now today?
I think you got to try some different things. He's he puts up his shots, but does he play much defense? Does he get any rebounds? You know, it comes into, is it worth having a guy that could make buckets versus a guy that you just is a will guy, and you're like, well, he's not as good a shooter, but you know what? He's in there and he's defending as hard as he can. He's trying to get rebounds, and just scrappy, just all over the place.
Yeah. See, the problem is I don't think anybody really phrased the argument quite like you did. And the way you just said makes sense. All right, there you could get a guy in there that could get you, bring different assets to the table. I don't know if that guy's on that roster though. I just saw somebody, I think it was on the Round the Horn the other day, saying like, Abrinas is going to be their shooting guard next year, and that's going to elevate Westbrook. Like it's ridiculous. That roster right now isn't very good. Their best player, at least I think their greatest asset right now, is Steven Adams, and I kind of feel bad for him because it just feels like he does all of that grunt work that you just mentioned that Carmelo apparently struggles doing. Um, but would it help to have another one of those guys? I suppose it would never hurt. Uh, but they just have so many flawed. There's so many flaws to their team. Andre Robertson is probably the worst shooter in the NBA, but a pretty awesome defender. I don't know how you're going to win like that with a guy who's so one-sided. As long as if everyone else was as consistent, you might have a chance to hide that sort of flaw. But they're not. They're everyone on that roster has some sort of deficiency, and that's really what it boils down to. I don't think bringing Melo off the bench changes it. It's just a poorly constructed roster with no offensive direction to put weaker players in a good position. Uh, I am curious to see what their GM does this year, though, because he's tried some things and he's pulled off some stuff that I didn't think anyone could pull off. So I do have some.
He's not afraid to swing the bat. That's for sure.
I do have an expectation that they're going to be fine, or at least they're going to be in a similar situation like this. I can't think of a GM who has, like you said, swung the bat and put them in a position every year to be like, well, it's not perfect, but it's better than what it was. I mean, at least there's a potential chance that this could be great, not good. The fact that it's blown up on them the past 3 years isn't great, but I got to give him some credit. They didn't rebuild. He keeps forcing this.
Got to keep Russ happy as well. He's making a lot of money.
You see, that's the problem. This is entirely, it's his entire team right now. He's got LeBron at this point. He's LeBron. He's a GM LeBron is what Westbrook is doing. Get rid of this guy. Give me this guy. You know what? Actually, I don't even care. Don't give me anybody because I'm going to do everything on my own anyways. I don't care who's around me. He might be better
Somebody's
off
got to
with,
figure it out.
he might be better off with worse players. Give him
Maybe.
give him the Cleveland roster. He'll get his quadruple doubles every game.
Maybe that's what they got to do. Seems counterintuitive, but I wouldn't. I'm not throwing any ideas out right now. It's the off season.
Yeah, well, speaking of the off season, we did start this whole conversation with Oladipo texting his trainer. Your thoughts on him getting back in the gym so soon? Putting that work in immediately.
That's too soon, right?
I think
That's too
it's
soon
too
to be
soon.
worried about that.
It's too soon. You need a break. You gotta just take a couple deep
You
breaths.
gotta
Even like
Yeah,
one day, even a week, you just gotta deflate from the year, and as well as I think you gotta come up with a new plan. I don't think you go into the off season with the same plan every year. If anything, I would take a couple days off, and then I would watch film of all the playoff games and say, all right, look, I could have been better at this, and I got to work on this in the off season, or I should have done this differently, or just educate yourself a little bit better. I don't know if you need to get right back in the gym, and you know, I don't know. You got to take a deep breath somewhere though. There's no way to stay this focused.
I think it was just one of those situations. Like I said, it was 15 minutes after the game ended where you haven't even come down from the game yet. You're still just in that. Oh, I just went toe to toe with LeBron. Game 7, we were right there, and it didn't happen. And once, maybe an hour later, kind of calmed down and was like, well, all right, maybe I take because I mean, I, I guess I love the hey, yeah, I want to get right back in there and start working out, but you just I can't think of anywhere else in life where you finish a major project and then immediately it's just I want to go right back into it. It's like, man, I just want to have like a night where I don't have to worry about anything at the minimum.
It's too soon.
Yeah.
It's too soon. And the other thing I don't like about this is this entire era of basketball, and I'm not like putting words in Oladipo's mouth, has been talking about, oh, the 3 games in 4 nights is too much, no back to backs, no long road trips, and all of that. And you're gonna see a guy like of this level, of this talent, and this age say like, oh no, 15 minutes later I was in the gym, but I don't want to play back to back games and things like that. Take your rest, man. All right, there's a reason everybody's screaming about all this. It's not completely irrational. Now, is it mandatory? I don't think everybody needs that the rest, but I do think there's clearly a benefit to it, right?
Did you see Dirk's response to it today?
No, I did not.
Oh, it's a good one. So he sends a screenshot out. He tweeted this earlier today. He said, "Yeah, I also asked my trainer when do we start." This was his trainer's response. "I told you 4 years ago that you were done 4 years ago. Your game has been in decline since Havlicek stole the ball from you, and your full court sprints are timed on a calendar."
Well, at least Dirk's got the ring, man. Good for him. And not only that, it was a pretty special series with a really fun team effort that defeated those Miami Heat. So good for Dirk. Dirk gets a pass.
Yeah, I thought that was a fun response with him just being older and just just making fun of it, like just making light of the whole situation.
But I do think we both agree too soon. Way too soon, right? Way too soon.
Yeah, yeah.
Way too soon. Well, Victor, take some time off, man. All right, you're gonna be all right. You got a bright future. If anything, I'd be rooting for Toronto like crazy right now. Let's get LeBron out of the East, and they just got Boston and Philly. You can have a shot. You got a decent chance.
Opens things up.
Well, been a fun podcast. A little bit scrambled, a little bit unprepared. I didn't bring any topics to the table today. I'm not gonna lie. All these were Zach's, and a lot of these were just improv on the fly here. I'm going to work on my next tight 5 in the last 5 minutes here, all right? You ready?
Perfect.
With that being said, make sure you check out the website, lcalcb.wordpress.com. You can check out Zach's Twitter name, which is
Wicked Z-Man 24.
Check out Sold by Will for all your San Diego real estate needs. And we're still looking for a guest on the podcast, and obviously struggling with some topics today. So send them our way. If you want to hear us talk about it, or if you want to come and talk with us about it, feel free to join. Anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Bishop?
Yeah, I have exciting news.
Ah, that's right.
I've got exciting news. So we have a holiday coming up. Do you know what I'm referring to? Next couple of days?
Cinco de Cuatro or Cinco de Mayo?
Cinco de Cuatro is coming up. Now, I have 2 pieces of news. The first one is that the creator of Arrested Development, Mitch Hurwitz, came out today and said he had time. He took season 4, which came out maybe more than a few years ago now. The way they filmed it, because everyone's super famous now, is it was pretty much, for the most part, each episode followed one character. And it kind of intertwined, but I guess there was a bunch of, you're filming with like a double, or like there was even talk of like a hologram. he did this whole thing. He remixed it to make it much more like the first 3 seasons. And so it's called Arrested Development Season 4 Remix Fateful Consequence. And that's going to come out Cinco de Cuatro. So we're going to have sort of new Arrested Development in a few days. He said, changing it up, it changes the jokes, and I am on board for this. What do you think?
Hey, more Arrested Development, the better. A lot of people do not know of Cinco de Cuatro if they're not Arrested Development fans. They're the Star Wars people. The May the 4th be with you. May 4th. Blah blah blah. So yes, it should be an eventful weekend for all of that. Safe. I'm excited for it. I'm always excited for more Arrested Development. Like you said, the cast and crew is great. It's probably the.
Oh, that's good. That's good that you're excited for more Arrested Development, because that's my second part of news. So a few days ago, it came out that Henry Winkler, who is on the show, he said in an interview that there would be season 5 was going to come out, and he said that this will be midsummer. It's like, oh, okay, cool. That's really not that far away. I didn't even know I should start getting excited for it. Mitch also said he did this whole tweet with a little note, because you always leave a note.
You always leave a note.
Always leave a note. Said that it's coming out sooner than what was said, and like really soon. So get excited, and just the date it's gonna be premiering on Netflix is very soon. So definitely we got some new Arrested Development on the horizon. That was my exciting news for the day, and I hope you're excited.
I am so excited, but I'm also excited to say we're back for the next podcast, which we will be. Thank you for, as always, listening, and we will see you next week.